Accelerator pedal. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the all-new Audi E-Tron GT. Before we get in this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into it. So starting things off, this has a 93 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a dual electric motor setup. Now the front electric motor is paired to a 1-speed automatic transmission, whereas the rear electric motor is paired to a 2-speed automatic transmission, and it leads to an interesting driving experience. Now, total system output is 496 horsepower and then 464 pound-feet of torque, with your driving range being about 238 miles. I've been getting closer to 200 miles because it's been really cold as I've had this as a vehicle to test. Now there is an RS version which has 590 horsepower and then 612 pound-feet of torque, but I feel like this is more than quick enough. 0 to 60 is under 4 seconds with this, and then with the RS version it's like just over 3 seconds, and so pretty crazy. Now before we dive into the front end, I do want to mention that if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So first off, starting with the hood, I love this distinctive line right there. And if you guys are wondering, this is called Tactical Army Green Metallic or something like that. Basically a cool army green, and there's the hood. Now normally I have a transition clip where I show myself turning on the lights, but I figured we'd do it with the key because it's really cool to see the light dance this does as it all comes on. I think that's fancy. And then you obviously have the LED headlamps. Now you guys can see here how it's like blacked out there and then blacked out in the center. For the 23 model year, there's gonna be a lot more like body painted sections. And so I think that this blacked out version looks a little bit better, but let me know if you think it would look better if it was all body painted instead. Now coming on the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 245, 45, 20 in the front, and then 285, 40, 20 in the rear. And then as for the design, you've got the silver there on the top, and then it's kind of like a dark metallic gray below that. And you know, for an EV, it actually looks really good. And then look at the size of the brake calipers on this and the rotors as well. I mean, it's crazy, but you need a lot of stopping power because it's a pretty heavy car. We've got charging ports on either side. So this is the one on the passenger side. It does have DC fast charging, and after you are done charging, you actually have to press this button again for it to unlock to give you the charging port. And then here's the charging port on the driver's side that apparently can't open, and you can see it's just a regular charger, but still has that same button to unlock it. Now here's our full side view with the E-Tron GT. You guys can see it's like blacked out there at the bottom, and you have that distinctive little vent piece right there. I'll give you guys a close-up in just a moment. But what I do want to mention is this does come with air suspension, so that's why you guys can kind of see it's a little bit raised right now because, well, we're on the grass. And for those of you wondering, this actually is functional. Now here's our key fob. You can see that it has the E-Tron logo there on the back. We have our Audi logo here on the front. Unlock, we've got the opening here for the trunk, and then our lock function. Just press this a couple times and it'll pop right open. When it comes to the cargo area of the E-Tron GT, it's actually not nearly as large as I would expect given the size of the car, but it's still pretty practical. That's just the bag for the charging cable, and we do have a 12 volt here in the back, and then there is more storage space just underneath. When you're done with the trunk, you can press this to lock the car and shut the trunk, or you can just press that and that'll just shut the trunk without locking it. Now, of course, we've got fancy taillights here in the back. You guys can see with the sequential design there. That is definitely fun. And yeah, I think it looks fantastic, especially at night. And then, of course, got another E-Tron badge with the Audi logo. We do have more parking sensors here at the bottom. And then you've got this diffuser here in the back, which I think looks really cool, all blacked out. And then when you put this all together, this is definitely one of the best looking, if not the best looking EVs on the market today. And I think that this being so beautiful is why it's not super practical, because you can definitely tell they made things really sloped to make it look beautiful from a design perspective, but then not have as much storage space. This does have keyless entry. Taking a look at the door panel, really nice leather trim here at the top, and then we've got some Alcantara down below, and then we have more leather trim down below that. Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is absolutely fantastic, and then I love the look of the handle. Really cool seats here in the E-Tron GT, perforated there in the center. Now oddly, legroom is not necessarily the best here in the back, but I mean I do fit, and then we do have some vents here in the back. We've got our climate controls and then heated seats on either side. Headroom is also okay. But it's okay because the E-Tron GT has a cup holder armrest. And just like most EVs, this has this full glass roof here at the top, which is pretty fun. Now the front door panel is just as nice as the rear, similar material use, but we do get some carbon fiber, which is fun. Same cool door handle. All of our window controls with the mirror adjustments, memory seat functionality. Get another speaker for the Bang & Olufsen sound system. That's to open up the trunk. And then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. For those of you looking for a juicy tax write-off, and again, this is not financial advice, payload capacity is 1,036 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is 6261. So yes, this has a gross vehicle weight rating of over 6,000 pounds, and that means that this vehicle weighs about 5,200 pounds. And then I love the look of the front seats. They look like they're taken out of a spaceship or something, and then they do have a bunch of power adjustments there on the side. Pretty normal pedals, which is kind of surprising, and then we do have all of our light controls just up above. So we do have Audi's famous golf ball textured steering wheel, which I think is fantastic. I really love the feel of it. Paddle shifters here on the back. They're part of the regen system. Controls for the center stack, heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel. We've got voice command, phone controls, volume controls, you know, all the normal stuff. Turn signal stock, cruise control, and then we have our windshield wiper stock, and this does have adaptive cruise control if you're wondering. We've got this full digital gauge cluster, which if you're familiar with modern Audis, you're familiar with this gauge cluster. I can press the view button on the steering wheel to actually change the view, which is pretty cool. Lets you know how much power you're using or whether you're charging, and then how much battery charge you have, and then what that equates to in terms of range, and then also your drive mode, so you know all the info you need to see. Now this has Audi's full 360 camera system, which is fantastic. So if I turn the wheel all the way, it actually turns the camera, which is really cool. You got that bird's eye view, and you do have this fun 3D view of the car as well, which I think is awesome. And then if I put it into drive, well, now I got to go back in reverse to show this to you. If I put it in drive, then it automatically pops on the front camera, which also has the fun turning thing as well. So amazing camera system. As for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, we're on the vehicle tab. So this is where our drive mode select is. I've been driving this in comfort mode most of the time. If you put it into efficiency, all that really does, from what I've noticed, is make it so you can't go faster than 85 miles an hour, because it shows right there, you can't go above 85. And then dynamic, obviously, for acceleration. Then individual, you can set it to what you want. And then we do have massaging seats, so you just pop over here into the seat tab, and then you can turn that on, which is also a nice luxury feature to have. And then with charging and efficiency, something that's kind of interesting is you have this efficiency assist, and you can have it set manual. That's where you use the paddle shifters, or automatic. And basically what it'll do is it'll start to do regen if the person in front of you starts to slow down. So it's like braking for you. It's really weird, and so I can understand why it automatically defaults to manual every single time you turn on the car. As for the rest of the infotainment system, response time, as you can see, fantastic while I'm using it. It's Audi's, modern infotainment system. I think it's a great. I just realized I said I think it's a great. Anyways, we have a heads-up display, and then really nice leather trim all over the dash, and then you got that cool E-Tron logo, and then carbon fiber here down below. So we do have a dual zone climate system with this. We also have heated and ventilated seats, and then we've got the vents down below that. We've got a bunch of toggle switches down here. Main thing, drive mode select, then you have parking assistance. Then if you want to turn off the screen for some reason, then you guys can see the stop start button below that. And then you've got this little button right here, which is like your parking space search, which is kind of interesting. And then you've got your actual parking brake in front of that, and then the old shifter thing, which is very unique. I found myself accidentally pressing the parking search sometimes instead of the parking brake, I will say that. We have our weird volume slider thing right there. Some storage space I've been using for sunglasses, and then you can see a couple cup holders, and then we have a very small center console. I feel like that's kind of the theme of this car, is small storage space for a large car, and then nice stitching and everything here on the side. And then this does still have, well, a normal glove box. We've got light controls up top, and then you guys already saw earlier, we've got that glass roof. Now this is our window sticker for this E-Tron GT, and I want to focus on a few things. So base MSRP is just a hair under $100,000, but a lot of the stuff that you'd want with this car comes with the packages this has, like the Prestige package, Performance package, full leather interior, and all that. And so total price, $118,740. And then look at the warranty information: 4-year, 50,000 mile new vehicle warranty, 8-year, 100,000 mile on the high voltage battery. And you guys can see like the range over there, and then the charge time of 10.5 hours on a 240 if you want to get a full charge. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hopefully you can now see the heads-up display. And then both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off here in the E-Tron GT, and something that I forgot to mention in the walk around is it actually has double paned glass on the windows to help out with sound deadening, which is really important for electric cars because you don't have an engine running, and so typically you will get a little bit more road noise. We're actually going to get a massage right now. We'll do the shoulder massage, and then in terms of what I have this set at, I'm just going to do manual for the recoup, so I can press the paddle and then it'll do more aggressive here with the regen because I just pressed that with the paddle. So kind of interesting setup right there. Just in the comfort mode, by the way. And I will say, daily driving this for the last week, it's a really good daily driver. Extremely comfortable. And pop into the dynamic quickly here. Of course, these people are going super slow. Don't have anyone behind us though, but I mean, this thing, it's quick. It's not obviously like Tesla Model S Plaid quick because it's got like half the horsepower, but it gets up and it moves at a very substantial pace. And you know, like getting on the interstate, all that kind of stuff, like it does great. Like it's really good when it comes to the overall acceleration. And I think that that's the thing that's impressed me the most with this is I have reviewed a bunch of EVs, and I think that this is the most comfortable. The thing that I don't like about like the Tesla, for example, is the all-wheel drive system on that is just really wonky, and so when you go around like corners and everything, it kind of feels weird. In parking lots, it also feels weird, and the air suspension is frankly not that comfortable. Or yeah, just I'm pretty sure the Model S has air suspension. Anyways, the suspension, regardless, in the Model S is not that comfortable, whereas the air suspension in this, super comfortable. Like I feel like I'm in like a full-blown, like really nice luxury car, similar to like Mercedes S-Class levels of luxury. And so I think that Audi's done a really good job with balancing that with the fun driving characteristics of this, because again, pop it into the dynamic setting, and again, you've got that 2-speed automatic transmission in the back. And so what that does is it kind of gives you like a second hit sometimes, which is pretty fun. Okay, well, of course we got to go to the fun road here. So I've got the brake held all the way down, accelerator pedal. Ah! Boom. And like you feel the kick of the second gear hit just over 60 miles an hour, and it is pretty intense. Now on this, you know, very bumpy, beat up back road, this actually handles really well. The suspension keeps the car nice and flat, like there's zero body roll. The brakes are really good. Unlike the Tesla Model S Plaid where you have no brakes, this thing has plenty of braking power. And so even though this weighs over 5,000 pounds and is extremely fast, I'm able to just get up and then I'm able to slow right back down. And this is actually engaging to drive. Again, for a vehicle that weighs over 5,000 pounds, it's impressive how fun this is to drive. And again, how good the braking is. So in terms of like a driver's EV, this is probably it. Obviously the Taycan sibling, super similar. But yeah, just to quickly sum things up here, and we're gonna pop it back into comfort mode with this, is I think this looks absolutely amazing on the outside. It's an amazing daily driver. It drives really well. It's super comfortable. It's super fun. The only downside is that this doesn't have enough range. If it had like closer to 400 miles of range, it would literally be the best EV, hands down, like no argument whatsoever. But because it's in the 200s, it's the only thing that really holds this car back. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Audi E-Tron GT. And with that being said, I'll see all of you in the next video.